We'll start up in about 5 minutes, see how it shows up. But we will be in CapCut basically all today. So if you want to get that popped up. You said what? It's updated? Oh, okay, cool. So we got Asia, present. On week 10 right now, or week 9, is it? I think we're on week 9, but we might be on week 8. I'm gonna double check. But today we're basically gonna do some recap of CapCut. So I have the 2 things we'll do today is the first half is I have footage and I want you guys to make some edits to it, and then I'm gonna come around and check them out. So it's like some guidelines that I want you to follow just so I know that you know how to use certain tools. So everybody will have the same video, but it's just certain guidelines that I will want you to follow. And then the second part of class is I have footage, 4 different types of footage. I have a wedding video, a car video, a basketball video, and like a train video. So you can pick which one you want. And I basically want you to edit that into a minute or a minute and a half, edit it down with certain guidelines too. And I'm gonna check that out, and then we'll actually play it on the board, on the TV, and then we'll see how the videos came out. Just so you know, I feel like we haven't really gone into CapCut too much. So these last few weeks will be really being in the CapCut. And yeah, so we'll do that. So before I start, I'm gonna put these clips on each laptop. It should take like 2 minutes. So pretty sure. And I'm gonna show you how to do some edits just for a reminder in case some of you guys forgot. So all right. I'm gonna start with you. Yeah. Anybody see any good movies out recently or any shows? Anything caught you guys' eye? I said, have you seen any movies or shows or videos that caught your eye recently? Or just editing or good acting or Shameless? I heard that was good. I haven't been watching any TV shows really, but that is one I heard was good. That's on Netflix, right? Okay. Yeah. So that's one of them that I heard was good. The Fifth Element. Is that the Fifth Element? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I love the Hunger Games series. I love that like dystopian type movies, so like Maze Runner, Divergent, Hunger Games. Um, okay. All right. So this should be.
Nobody says, she just drink my egg. Nobody says that, dude. No, I'm saying, what if I do that? What if I shoot at the public? I'm just talking about it. You ever gonna get in?
That's the username. Christian, I forget what's the password for this. So is it different for each person? Or I thought they created their own?
They log in to their home, but we don't want them downloading programs that we allow. So it's like like you know, in schools, they always have that like protection on it, right? They block it for speaking.
Before you go, I'm gonna put in my notes so I don't gotta. What?
Oh, you don't know that. Oh, you don't know that. Tell my husband. It was for the first time I told you I should. Yeah. Yes, I did that. Yes, she did that. She did that. She did that. If I say you kid, if I say no. Stop. I can tell it. I would tell. That was terrible. I don't know. Go ahead, you know.
Should I wait or should we do another good time? I don't know. Let's do it. Yeah. You can do your. I'll type that.
it's so simple. Exactly. No, I'm
Oh yeah, so just log in into your same account. Just log into your same info that you did for
What you say?
So my name,
should be your name. Yeah, yeah, last name. And click through. Is it at click through?
No, it's just his first name.
I'll put out. What? I'll put something.
I know the.
It's up.
What's that? Seems expert. You take it back to
All right, so this is basically what we're gonna do. So I just put a folder on everybody's computer called Clips for Class. So Angela, let me know when that's downloaded. So CapCut should be up for everybody. So we'll just first create a new project. So I'm gonna show you what I want you to do, and then I want you guys to work on it. So basically in that folder, there's a video called, should be called interview MP4. Everybody got that? So in that folder, clips for class. So if you do import and then you go to your desktop, because I'll put it on everybody's desktop, and then there should be a folder called clips for class. And then the video should be called interview. It's 5 videos on there, but the one I want you to use, interview. And so this would be from last week. Linnea, I think that's her name. Yeah, Linnea. We filmed this. So basically what I want you to do is edit this video with some sort of title, add a title, add music, add color grade, and and a nameplate. So basically some sort of title for this video. So this is just an interview. So you can say interview with a classmate. It could be, question interview, some sort of title for this video. And so you can watch it. It might be better to put your headphones on because audio, so you can really hear the audio and hear the interview. Let me know if y'all need help with that file. You can't find it. So everybody got this video and CapCut going?
Yeah.
All right. So, like I said, I want these 4 guidelines going. So, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. I want some sort of title, a nameplate. So, Linnea Rogers, add music, and then color grade the video a little bit. So, you'll be doing color grade, adding some sort of music, title, and a nameplate. And so, I'll show you how to do that. All right. So first things first. First thing I'm gonna do, and it doesn't have to be in this order. It could be in any order. So if you want to add the music first, that's fine. Those are just what I would like for you to have. So all right. So first things first, let's add some music to this video. So like I said, if you put your headphones in, that might be better so you can really hear the interview. So I'm gonna play this so you could see.
Okay, what's your favorite movie and why?
Yeah, you can't really hear it on here. But once you put your headphones on, you'll really hear it. So it's just an interview. So you don't have to do any cutting yet, anything like that. I just want you to add these 4 things. So first thing, let me just add a song to this. So again, any music that you want to add is in audio. So you can find any song, preferably a song that works ill with this video. So I'm gonna do a chill beat. Let's see what we see. Okay, probably not that. I'll use that just for this example. So now we got music to the video. So you want to cut the song so it fits the entire, video. So you see how the music is too long and the video is kind of shorter than the music. Let's cut that. So to cut it, again, your cut tool, just come up here, find that cut tool, and just cut it to where it ends at the video. So I'm gonna go back to my select, take that, and delete that. So now the music covers the video. And so you notice though, you can't hear her voice. The music is too loud or she's too low. So what you want to do is you want to turn the music down and raise her voice a little bit. So to do that, again, any settings to change music, just click the music and then go over here and then here's the volume. So we could turn that music down. So we kind of just want it in the back, not really too loud because we still want to hear. So the music's okay, but let's turn her up a little bit. So again, if I'm clicking her video, going to audio, I'm probably turn her vocals up a little bit so the music is low. See, so that's a little bit better.
Okay, what's your favorite movie and why?
Okay, so that's music basically. So just some sort of song. Make sure we can hear her voice, and make sure the music isn't too loud where it overpowers her voice. So that's music. Any questions with adding music? All right, question. Yeah, so you could go to, like, again, any music that you want is in audio. So audio is always music. So audio, and you can search any song you want. You could do a rap beat, a jazz beat, a country beat, any song. I just typed in a chill beat, but you can find a song that works. I just want you to get familiar with using music in your project and making it fit. So preferably a good song that works. So yeah, just type it in, type a Christmas song, Christmas music, find something like that. So that's fine too. But something. So that's music. That's how we add music. So that's 1 of 4. Next thing is a nameplate. So her name is Lynette Rogers. I'm gonna spell it. So anytime you want to add any text, title, words, or anything, that's always text up here. So music is audio, sound effects, audio, but any titles or words, that's always text. So I'm gonna grab this and just drag it to the top of my video. And so we have our name, our title right here, our nameplate. So I'm just drag it off to the corner, maybe shrink it a little bit, and then I'm gonna type her name in. And then maybe add some type of style. You could do a glow, something like that. You could change the size a little bit, but something where we see her name next to the video so we know who's speaking. And yeah, that's it. You can have it go the whole video or you can end it off in the first 5 seconds, up to you. But as long as we know who's speaking. So yeah, so that's nameplate. Any questions with how to get a nameplate or a title? All right. So we got the music, we got the nameplate. Next thing yeah. Which one did you Get a new computer? Well, then no, I didn't put it on there. I'll put it on there in a minute. And then I'll get yours, Anthony, in a minute. You don't have the clips though, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna put that on there in a minute. But okay, so we got music and we got a nameplate. Those are the two things. Cool. Next thing is color correction. So add some type of color correction to this video. So if I click the video, again, go to adjustments, I can change this. So I like black and white. So I'm gonna make this black and white. Just turn the saturation down, but you can choose any color. It doesn't have to be black and white, but nothing too crazy like that. It's too saturated. So something that looks good, but something a little bit different. You want to add some yellow or some blue, or change the contrast. Something, just change the color in some way where it fits, but nothing like too odd like that or like that. Like that doesn't look that natural. But something natural, black and white, a little dark if you want, but up to you. And that changes the color of everything. So like I said, I want to do black and white. So we got black and white. Well, any questions with color correction? How to do that? All right. So nameplate, we got it. Music, we got it. Color correction, we got it. The last thing is a title, some sort of title to name this project. So what you want to do is I'm going to unhook this magnet, which basically keeps everything locked in, but I'm going to uncheck that so we can move stuff around. So I'm going to scoot over all my footage. I just highlighted everything and just dragged it across. So now we got this space here, right? So I want to add some sort of title. So I'm going to just grab my text again, make sure the text is highlighted because that's always titles, names, anything with words is always under text. So I'm going to grab that, drag it. And so let's name this interview one. So now we got our title. I'm gonna highlight all my footage again, scoot it over. So maybe I'll drag my music over. Oops. So it plays with the title as well. So let's see how that looks. Oops, my bad.
Okay, who am I?
Okay, so I probably gotta fix this so it doesn't overlap on the video. There we go. And if you ever need to zoom in, you could use this thing right here, this bar, and you zoom in. Yes. Blurred out. You could do that, yeah. To do that, I'll show you. So I'll move this clip over. So what you want to do is you want to cut that piece off that you want to blur. So I'm gonna go to my split tool and I'm gonna cut, let's say I want to this interview part. So right where before it cuts, I'm gonna cut it. So now we got two separate clips. We got the interview clip and then the part where I want to blur. So we got two clips. So I'm gonna click this and then that's an effect. So that blur is actually an effect. So if you go to effects right here and you type in, I believe like blur, it should come up like Gaussian blur or something. Yeah, right here. Just drag that over that one and then it should be there.
Okay, who am I here with?
And then it goes into it. And if you want it to be a little bit more smooth, you can add a transition, but we'll go to transitions for the second video, but you also add a transition between those two to make it smooth, something like that. Any of these transitions work for that. But yeah, you could get creative as you want to. I just want these 4 guidelines at least to be over this video. Any questions so far? All right. Any questions? All right. And if you have questions, ask the person next to you first. If they don't know, ask me. We can go over it. So yeah, this is the first half. I just want to get you guys familiar with using CapCut. And then Anthony, I mentioned that for the next half, I have 4 clips. It's a wedding video, a car video, a train video, and a basketball video. You could pick one, and then I'm gonna give you another guidelines for it. But yeah, and then we're gonna watch them at the end and see, what everybody came up with. So this is just like a pre-round kind of guess just to get you familiar, and then the second would be like the main round. And then I'm gonna come around, and when you're done, just let me know. I'm gonna come around, just check it, and then yeah, you're good. All right. So yeah, plug in those headphones if you need to, and then yeah, you could start. Again, let me know if something's not working. Where's that drive at? Okay. These clips. Yeah. I know. I got you. Her voice. So you put the video, her video, and the audio. And that's the value. I know it's kind of low, but that's why I'm trying to keep it. Yeah, we'll work with those next. Make sure. Desktops. Yeah. Which part? Yeah, I'm gonna uncheck these. Make it so. Let's see how you set it around.
Yeah, that's it. So, just put it off, so it's good.
Say that again?
Just put it off, so we.
Yeah, and then the second one, when you saw that basketball video, that's the one where I wanted to see how creative you could really get. But just for the first half, I just want you to, I just want you to get familiar with it.
Oh, so Wednesdays, it's called. That's what it's called, Wednesdays. Yeah, when Wednesdays, we start is your alternatives. Yes, sure. I still have videos.
Oh, thought I gave it to you. Oh, my bad. Man, like 5:15, I'm gonna check it. Yeah, y'all doing, because we gotta, I want y'all to do the second video, which is more creative. I want y'all to really play with that one. So at 5:15, I'm gonna check and make sure y'all good with that. You should have this. So, you got 'em. Now I gotta take this out. I gotta make sure it's down. So it was it going to leave it out first. All right, you got it.
I gotta take some.
Now we should have for real. I'm gonna just keep this in for you. So, um, everybody else having, so I'll just take this out. Oh, yeah, it's at 5 to 10. I'm gonna check on. See how we are.
How do I get to that color beard again?
Adjustments.
Oh, that's yes.
So click per video. And then adjustments. Just scroll down. And those, so some counting color. You good, Anthony?
So I'm looking for a specific audio.
You looking for a specific song?
Like, specific audio to a song.
Well, if you do find one, it might be a little hard getting it into CapCut though, if it's on your phone. But you could, for the next one, that's where you could really, for this one, I just want to see what you know with songs in the catalog. But for the next one, after this, we could work with whatever song you want. Bless you.
good, Israel?
Which one is part two?
That's for the next one. So part one, title, nameplate, music, color. You got any help with anything? So you finished? Okay. All right. Well, if you want to start thinking about what you want to do for part two, like I said, I've got 4 clips in that folder. I got a wedding video, a car video, a basketball video, and like a train video. So I'm gonna start piecing that. So those would be the guidelines I want for the second one. Once we get into it. Good. All right. I'm gonna show y'all how to this one you don't have to export this, but for the next one I'm gonna show you how to export it because we're gonna watch them.
We watch one of them.
This for the second one. Yeah, not these. I'm gonna come and just check them out. Yeah. We'll check your weather out too. Is color grading. All right. So only thing too is just make sure you cut it off. So video enhances music. Yeah, so you could delete this. Um, I guess that. You see that other folder that I put in there? If you do, it's four other videos, so you can choose which one you want, but don't just import the video you want. Don't start. Yeah, don't go over. Um, Let me show you that. Yeah, some sort of bubble cutting. No, I don't have to do. I just, yeah. Yeah. You good? I don't know his name.
Word, you call them.
Good. Oh, so you finished the first one?
Yeah.
You still got it? So you finished? Take a look. Listen. Just- I can take listen to it. I think it's good. Thanks. I'll use it. I'll use it. Yes, color grade. To oh, good job. Alright. So yeah, the second one, you can start on it, but I was going to show you some new restrictions, some other restrictions, like some other guidelines, but so far y'all good. So y'all good. See you in a minute. You said what? Not yet. Give me 5 minutes and then we'll start the second one. How you doing? Good? Yeah, y'all did good. Y'all doing good so far. Nice. All right. So about 10 more minutes and we're gonna move on to the next one.
That's good. That's the only reason. That's what. It's fun.
About 7 minutes, 6 minutes.
Looks like it was awesome.
Yeah.
Trying to get this sport.
Trying to dissolve the sound.
Oh, no, no.
Was you trying to dissolve? Was you trying to? Because you have to dissolve it from something. You can't just dissolve from you. What are you trying to do?
I was
Trying to fade in.
kind of.
So what you want to do is uh, go to effects. So if you don't have a clip in front of this, you have to use an effect. But if you do have a clip, you can use a transition. So you're gonna do a fade. See how it's fade out? Type fade in. See if you got fade in. Right, so there's fade in. So you can drag that to the video. So and you want that to come in smoothly with it, you might have to fade this out while this is fading in. So that could fade out and fade into this. And then you want to move that over so it comes soon because it's a gap right here. That's why it's not smooth. You just got a gap. You want to move that over so they all, that makes sense? Like, yeah. So now it's fade. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, we'll move on. So, and two, if you want to fade into her name, same idea, take that fade in and drag it on that. Yep. Oh yeah, for text, actually different. So, you had a fade already. Okay, no. So what we're gonna have to do is animation. And so fade in. And then animation. Fade in. And I'm gonna go over this again. Should fade out. Fade out this. Fade in. Fade out. Then fade that in again. Yep. All right. How you doing, Daniel? You think you got it? All right. Deja, you think you got it? You good?
Yeah.
All right. So, her audio, click her video, and audio, and then you could turn it up and down. Just check this out. Good job. Good job. So you did the color grading, so that's good. You got it? I saw you and stuff. Oh, wow. Okay. Hey, how you doing? Yeah. Nice. Good job. Have you edited before, or you just kind of about? Okay. Nice. That's good. Yep. Yeah, perfect. All right. Everybody looks good. You need some more time. You think you're good? So I can take a listen to it, or you still need some?
Well, how do you fade out of a sound? Like, say for instance, you want to end the sound slowly, slowly,
I'm about to show you. So yeah, I'll come back so you can check yours out. 5 minutes. All right. Yeah. So everybody's was really good. So that was part one, Jamie. So that was part one. Now we're gonna just move on to part two. So part two, I put that folder I put on your computers is for video, like a wedding, a train, a basketball video, and a car video. Pick one that you want. So I'm gonna show you. And I'm gonna show you how to export too. So I'm just deleting the old video. So you could delete the old video if you want, or you can do a new project, but you remember it saves automatically. So if you want to start a new project, you can. All right, so I chose the basketball video. Yo, listen to Angelo, Israel. All right, so I'm using this basketball clip as my example, but you could choose any of those four. So for this one, every clip is like 4 minutes. I want you to reduce it to a minute to a minute and a half. So some clips are 8 minutes, some are 6, some are 4. I want you to cut it to a minute and a half. So a minute to a minute and a half. So that's the first thing I want you to do with whatever video you choose. So like I have this basketball video. This basketball video is, how long is this? Is 5 minutes. So I would want this to be a minute and a minute and a half. And then the second thing, you already know how to do music. You did in the first one, so add some type of music, some title, color grade, same as before. But then I added 2 more. I want you to do a transition, at least 3 transitions, and then 1 effect. So I'm gonna show you how, I'm gonna just show you this example of how I'm gonna do it. So I got this basketball clip, right? And so right now this is 5 minutes long. So I'm gonna create a story out of this video that ends up being 1 minute to a minute and a half. So again, here's my cut tool. So maybe I use just this shot for my first one. So this opening shot with this basketball, I think that's a good opening shot. So maybe that's my first one. So I'm gonna move all my clips over, have my basketball showing the court a little bit. That's my opening shot. So let's say I'll move over to my next shot. I want to add some type of transition. I don't want it to just cut to the next video like that, because that's not as professional. I want it to be smoother. So to do that, up here, transitions all labeled. Maybe I do a swipe left. So I'll put it in between the 2 clips. Okay. Hold on. Let me make sure. I'm going to show you what I did. Okay. So if you can't add a transition, you might have to click these connectors tab. So make sure these are connected so they can lock in, because if it's a gap in between the clips, it won't let you add a transition. So you want to make sure all the clips are connected together. And if you want to undo that, just uncheck these. So now I can move my clips around. But if I want to bring everything back together, just bring them all back together like that. So for this clip here, it does that jump. I don't want that. I want to add like a swipe left. So I'm gonna put OK. See how this looks. There, that was a transition. So I just want at least 3. So that was 1, right? So maybe here I add another one. I add this whoosh in between this clip. Boom, another transition. So just some sort of transition in between the clip that you make. And again, a title, like how we did in the previous one, and then some sort of effect. So in this clip, you could just go to effects, everything's labeled. You could add a blur if you want. Let me find something else. This is blue line blur. I wonder what this is. That's not that good. That's because I have blur searched up, but you can find any video effect that you want.
Make sure though, because we're gonna export these, because we're gonna watch them. You can't export if it's pro, because we don't have the pro version on these computers. So if it has pro, you won't be able to export it. So this one I can use because it doesn't. So if I take this, it gives me like some phone effect, sepia color effect. So that's a cool effect. So you can add some type of effect over all your clips, or at least one clip, but some effect like this. But yeah, keep in mind that pro, don't find one that says pro because you won't be able to export it. So yeah, color grade's the same, music's the same, and you asked how to do a fade out for the music and a fade in. So that's a good point. So I'm gonna add, let's say I add this song, say rap beat. Okay. So again, take my music and notice how this music doesn't last the whole video, right? Because my video is longer than my song. So you got to keep that in mind too. The song may not be long enough for the video. It might not. So you want to pick a song or at least another song that fills up the minute and a minute and a half video. So see how it just jumps in? Let's fade it in. So again, click your audio, your music, go to fade in and fade out. So if I want to fade in, swipe that and it should fade in. You can see it actually moving right here in real time, how you see the volume changing. So if I fade in, it's going to slowly fade in. See? Like that. And then if you want to fade out, same idea, go to the end of the clip, then fade that out. And you see it's changing like that. So if I, and that's a fade out. So that's a fade in and a fade out. Any questions? Yeah. Off your phone. I'll show you. So if you want to use some audio on your phone, you would have to convert it, and because you can't get music from your phone to your computer like that. Yeah, well, where are you getting music from? Like YouTube? Yeah, you would have to download that song and then email it to yourself and then download it. But depending on what song, I'll come to you. If you want to use a song that you have on your own, let me know. I'll show you how to do it just because it'll take a while because you got to download it into like a converter and then download it to your computer. It's just a lot of steps. But if you want to know how to do it, I'll come around and show you. But for this one, I just want you to use some type of song from the catalog that they have here. They have a lot of good songs, free, copyright-free music. So find some. Just keep in mind that pro, you won't be able to export. So let me show you how to export real quick because I want you to export it in a certain way. So, okay. So here's my video. And then once I'm done with my video, file, export. This is how you export it. So once you got your video done, file, export, and then just name your project. So Santi Hayes video, but make sure your name's there so we know whose project it is. All of this should be kept the same. You don't need to really touch any of this. And keep in mind where you save it. So anytime you have a project, you save it, it's saved in a specific location. So I'm saving this to my downloads, but you could save it to your desktop. You could save it to your documents, but I would just save it to my downloads or desktop on you guys' computer. So I'm gonna just save it to my downloads so I know where it is. Okay, cool. Once I got it, export, and it's gonna do the exporting process. Shouldn't take that long. Okay, cool. I got it. All right. So we're good. So we can cancel it. So let's see our video. So file, downloads, Asante Hayes video, and it's the one that's .mp4. So there we go. There's my video. And we might not have time to watch them all today. So next week, we'll watch them probably. So finish what you can today, and then we'll watch them because we don't have that much time. I just want you to spend time editing this. So any questions with that? Same idea, title, music, color grade, 3 transitions at least, 1 effect, and reduce it to a minute to a minute and a half. All right. And so we'll watch these next week. So make sure you export them. And then I'm gonna also export them on my drive so we have a backup. But yeah, let me know if you got questions. And yeah.
All right, so it's not music video, but it's like it's like a video. It's how those views. The sound of it, like,
So you want the sound from your video. Yeah, I'm gonna do something that you shouldn't do, but just for the sake of this, I will. How long? Okay, 5 minutes. So you want to take the audio from this? Okay, what's this called? Okay, so this is a little, this is a little trick, but it's not. You shouldn't do this, but do it just to show you. We have Chrome here. So basically, if you have the link, you go on YouTube to MP3, and let's see, we can do this one. So you basically take the YouTube link of that video that you have. Search video that was. That one. Alright, so here's the link to that. Copy it. Basically, it's basically gonna convert that to an audio file. And this is the whole point, like they don't want you taking music from other stuff. That's why they make it so hard for you kids to put it, music from. See, they make it so hard, especially on Windows.
was just like audio recorded.
You could do that, but it won't be the best audio.
What if I like do the audio record on my phone and then just download it?
You saying do audio record on your phone?
I gotta record on my phone. Each one to play the video, record the sound, and I get the sound of my footage.
And send it to yourself.
I guess I'm
You could try that. I don't know how good the audio is gonna come out, but that might be a good idea. You could try that. So try that, see if that works. Yeah.
That's also when I take a long break.
If I think that like, that's just, I mean, that's pretty cool.
I can fade out. You want to fade the video out. So anytime you want to fade, so there's two ways to fade. The first way is to click the video that you want to click animation. So this is fade in effect, and then there's fade out effect. So if you're fading out, you want to find, yeah, see, so you want to do that, and then for the next clip, you want to fade in to that one. So click that, make sure you click in, fade. Now play that, see how that works. Yeah.
What you call?
I got you. I got you. Yeah. That's one way. That's one. Type fade in or fade. And drag that in between two clips. So. Yep. So that's one way. Those are two ways. For the even transition, you have to have two clips together. So you can't, if you have one clip, it won't even let you. Let me show you. So let's say this clip finished. You can't do this on this clip because you need another clip for it to fade into. It's not gonna fade into nothing. It's gonna fade into something else. But if you want to fade out for one clip, you gotta use the animation. But if you got two clips, you can use transition. Transition only use if you have two clips together. If you don't, you gotta use animation. That makes it so, you know, you can fade out. But you gotta remember if you want to fade that in or fade that out. So if you fade it out, make sure you put out, fade it in, fade in. Yep, you good, Angelo?
I mean, how do you change the font?
Yeah. Oh. Like so first you gotta drag it onto the timeline. Yeah, and now you can add the spots and stuff. Some stuff they might not have, might have. So what you were saying, how you upload to the file,
I would just shut out a bunch of, I don't shut the sleep by myself.
I think you should email it to yourself. I don't know how the cloud would work for this. How's yours? You good for the first one? Yeah, I know it's hard. If you're talking about turning volume up on her, I see on the computer. Yeah, but even then, it's still hard. So it's just like sound.
Okay, you want to hear what?
Yeah. See this correction. Only thing is, next time, just I would say just make some color correction, just so you know how to use it. So make it warm, make it cool, whatever you want. But yeah, good, pretty good. Yeah, good job. And then what we're working on now, probably between this class and next week, we're doing this second part. So you could choose between the wedding video, either one of these. So the wedding, the car, or the train, the car, or the basketball clip, and then we're just doing that. So cutting it between a minute and a half, adding some music, title, color grade like before, and then one effect and at least 3 transitions. So let me know if you need help with that. So you could delete that if you want. Yeah. Did you get it to work, Anthony?
I sent it to my email, it has came yet.
Okay. And then you have to download it
Like,
to the downloads and then import it from the downloads. Okay.
this is 3 times need to be transition.
3 different transitions. But 3 total, but 3 different ones. If you want to add more, definitely, but at least 3. Oops, my bad.
I didn't take my, offense.
Say that again.
I didn't take my offense.
If you right click, put it the clip and then edit it back. And then delete it.
or it was an MP3, or it was an
Say that again.
download. Deal was trying to email it to me as an MP4, didn't go through. But I went through as an MP3.
Yeah. So you export as an MP4 because it's a video, that's screen recording, and then you sent it to yourself and you downloaded it, but it downloaded as an MP3.
No, so when I sent it to my email, I sent it as an MP4.
Right.
Never went to, but I did it as an MP3 and it automatically.
Okay.
So I put it download really quick. How do you want to go from
Let me see. So yeah. So now, do you download it?
there?
Okay. So you can exit out and then go to import media. So media import. And then download. So what you're probably gonna do. Um,
What is going on? Just starting MP3.
even if I search it, God.
Wow, that was ridiculous. Okay. I gotta figure out why that happened, so it's not,
So, yeah,
so it's not like that. I don't know why, but there it is. So we got about 5 minutes left of this class. So, well, if you're done with it, you can export. But if you're not done with it, well, it saves automatically. So you could just X out, honestly. But yeah, if you're done, export it, name it, save it to your OneDrive. That way, any computer you log into, it saves to the OneDrive. So if you got questions on how to do it, I'll show you. But I can't do it on the computer because I have a Mac. I don't have a Windows. So let me know if you need help with that. But if not, it saves again, like automatically. So hmm?
Yeah.
So I put one transition and everything. But I want to go to put the second one there, it took over the first one.
Yeah, you can't put two transitions on top. You can't put another one on top of each other. It has to be one transition.
No, I'm saying like I put one transition for one transition for one part and another transition for another part. But when I put the second one, it took over the first one.
Let me see.
So you just like just play, let's keep transition now. And then I'm gonna be able to put the comment cut for like just 2 pieces here. It doesn't really. Now this piece. Oh, it's right there. But I want it to be here.
You want that one to be there,
Yeah,
like this one,
yeah,
to be here.
yeah.
And then delete that, so just backspace. Or yeah, and then drag it to where you would. But you remember, it has to be is that a cut right there?
Oh, it's not a cut line.
Yeah, it's got to be cut because it needs to know that it's transitioning to something else. So make that cut, then they'll let CapCut know, okay, you want to transition to the next cut. Yeah, yeah, but
That's what I want.
okay, but yeah, I think you want to cut into this, right? And not like. Let me see, show you.
I ain't playing.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Okay, but yeah, looking good so far. All right, so basically 6 o'clock. So
Oh, also one thing. Yeah. So the second one, where I wanted, I don't know if it's an effect, but what was it? A transition. It's called what they say, hedge glow.
okay, this. So you want to put this. So this is an effect. So any effect that goes over a video, it's gonna turn that whole video into that glow. So you want it only on a certain part. You got to cut it. So it's just that clip. So like for example, if you just want, let's say, this scene where you see this like post up right here, you got to make the cut only on that part. So here, I'll just show you. See, I'll just drag it down just on that one and not these. See, we only put it on the one in this section. Cut
Can I change the color?
of the glove.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they might have other colors. Like if you type in glow, they might have some other stuff. Unfortunately, no, you can't. They should have that.
That'll be clear to make it bio like you like. for like a cartoon character, the whole body just looking like a big old flashlight.
Yeah, yeah. They got some other cool stuff though, like in effects for like body, so like body effects. Like, those literally take the body, so it detects the bodies in a shot and just makes an effect for the body. So
Oh, that's what I look for.
yeah, but
That's
yeah,
what.
yeah.
Let's do. This one. But these ain't pro, right? So I
If it's-
think these.
If it's not pro, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So how do I know it's pro or not?
It's gonna say pro next to it. That diamond is gonna be pro. On mine it says pro, but on a PC it's that diamond thing. So I'm gonna try to see if we can get pro on these computers, so we can just use everything. But if you just want to have it, you can have it. You just won't be able to export it.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's the only thing. But we can watch it. Well, now we won't get to watch it. Well, we could watch it, but still, you have to plug your computer in. So if you really want that, you can have it on there. It just won't be exported officially. But yeah, they look nice. I'm gonna take this drive out. All right. So yeah, stay going. So y'all can exit out. And we'll resume this. I don't know if y'all be here next week, but we all went a break. I don't know.
I'm good.
It's on Wednesday. So, right, but like, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday. If y'all, I mean, if y'all will be here, it's cool, but I don't know how that works with y'all school. Like, if y'all, I'm gonna act out the man. If y'all break down, like, right, so I don't know. How that would work. Yeah, I'm setting up now. Good job, y'all. Did pretty good. Finish up next week. Watch them.
Okay.
It protects freedom of speech. But that doesn't mean you can express anything you want, anywhere, anytime. Here are some questions about public school student speech and expression that come up a lot. Can you wear a symbol showing your support for or opposition to something? Most likely, yes.
Well, hold on, because this doesn't really happen with you guys. Because you sometimes, well, you can talk about it in the school setting since you are all mostly students. What can you or can you not do or wear in school? Where's my thing? Yeah, in school, do you have restrictions on your freedom of speech in school?
Yes, yes.
In certain classes? Only one class?
Everybody.
Hmm. Well, what about right, your dress code? Do you find that to be infringing on your First Amendment rights? Can you wear anything you want to wear? You don't see people get dress code. Do people wear obscene or explicit language or images on their shirt? You see that? No. Okay, well, she's gonna talk about it in the. I'm not what?
He said the shirt said I ain't gave him $20.
That sounds inappropriate.
He got
He got flagged for it. Yeah, yeah. So she's gonna talk about it in the school setting.
oh, that's
It had custom shirts. Yeah, and I agree with the stuff.
E-writing. Oh, who had a shirt that said that? Mm. He didn't get flagged for it. Mm. But do you have something in writing? Did you all sign a contract or anything in writing for your dress code? Was there no? No? Interesting. You-
Gotta made this. Let me tell you now, back when I was in school, you couldn't wear no shorts underneath the thighs, over the thighs.
Mhm.
You couldn't cuss in the hallways.
No.
Get suspended for everything.
You went to Bloom too? Yeah.
I was a regular.
He said 2023. Oh, you graduated.
Are you?
Yeah, right.
2023 was last year.
See my brother Rick.
I understand now, but I was there.
Yeah.
You brought up a fight. Hey, look, I kept this.
This isn't you.
So this would be related to school, but then we'll talk about how the First Amendment has an impact on esports.
A Supreme Court ruling that said 3 students should have been allowed to wear black armbands to school to protest the Vietnam War. Students don't lose their First Amendment rights at the school door, so schools can't censor because they think something could be disruptive.
Mhm.
It's up to the school to prove that you'll be disrupting the learning process. Can you badmouth your school with some F-bombs on TikTok? Probably. Thanks to the Tinker ruling, your school would have to show that your post caused real disruption at school or specifically harassed other students in order to get you in trouble for it. As one Pennsylvania school district found out, in the case of an F-bomb Snapchatting cheerleader, it's even harder to prove you're disrupting school when you're off campus. Can you publish an article your school administration doesn't like in the school paper? Probably not. When students at the Spectrum wanted to publish articles about teen pregnancy and divorce, the school district said no. And in 1988, the Supreme Court agreed with the censorship based on the school's educational concerns, because the paper was a school-sponsored project intended for learning and not a forum for expression. Now, many states have specific laws to protect students' expression in school papers too. Anything else you should avoid? Stay away from lewd speech or innuendo, as Matthew Frazier found out in 1983 when he gave a speech with dirty jokes at a school assembly. And even if it's just a joke, avoid anything drug-related, like Joseph Frederick's 2002 Bong Hits for Jesus banner. Frazier and Frederick lost their cases, so these topics are worth avoiding altogether. What other questions do you have about student speech at public schools? Drop a comment. The First Amendment protects
This I
freedom of
was looking
speech,
for that. So,
but that doesn't mean you can express anything you want, anywhere, anytime. Here's
yeah, where's my thing? Here we go. Mm-mm. Yep. Inappropriate, like sexually motivated. So, freedom of speech, right? Your First Amendment protects several freedoms, but we're talking today about freedom of speech. The government cannot restrict a person's ability to express their ideas or opinions or retaliate against them based on what they say. But when we're talking about video gaming or esports, let's say you have a sponsorship with a particular company. Do you think freedom of speech matters? How do you think that plays out with a contractual obligation? I'm sorry? No. It's a little different, right? Because the things that you say while you are representing a particular brand or company may have an effect on how others view that company, may have an effect on business. So the things that you do and the things that you say may become important. So you're likely to have clauses in your contracts that address that. Uh-oh. I'm just kidding.
Two people. Started late and then like, but the new person is found out good stuff, and the person that was before like found out white stuff, like wanted. Okay, let's say that like they did have like a contract, like the schools to sell snacks.
Okay.
Would the person who stays longer have like should be able to do it? Should only be able to do it, or just another person do it too?
We talked about this a little bit. Exclusivity, right? Does the contract say only you? And this is why contracts are important, because you can write that in your contract and say, as the school, I'm selling snacks for the school, only I can do this. But if that's not in your contract, then anyone can contract with the school to sell snacks. And they selling it. Didn't we have this conversation already? Okay.
You buy for $25, you sell it for $100. That's not illegal?
No.
Like,
Yeah.
That's not, I ain't scared of no one. It looks real and it feels real. They think it's real. And I never said this is real. They thought it was real. They don't.
Well, you want to be careful because you can't sell something that looks authentic and isn't authentic without specifically being okay. Okay.
I thought it was real.
So, and that's how you sold it. In video games, protected speech. So, the U.S. Supreme Court established that video games are a form of protected speech on the First Amendment. So, players have a right to express themselves through their gameplay and commentary. So, especially since gaming is so. I need this. I never do this. Am I supposed to do this for every class?
No, that's you.
You want to leave it here? Okay, gotcha. So, although that is the case, there are some restrictions, and we'll talk about it, right? What are some limitations? Certain speeches protect, certain speech can be restricted by esports organizations, including hate speech, right? Harassment, doxing, threats. They can lead to sanctions or bans. But why is that important? Again, if you are playing a video game or you're on the internet, you're on Twitter or Twitch or YouTube, and or you're representing a particular organization, do you think it's fair that they restrict you from hate speech? Yeah, right. No, hate speech is generally going to be related to like ethnicity or demographic. Yeah, like a particular different. Yeah.
Like, or something that's like, it could be, it's like, what if I say,
Talking by the young word, but they're not black.
like, yeah, what if I'm
You
black?
can still be.
What if I'm black and I say, is that hate speech?
Depends. It could be. Yeah. It depends on how you're using it.
This, I would say that.
Right. So the context matters. But if you are at an assembly and you say, every, black person is a N word, what do you think that's gonna?
So they was in the debate speech that one time, Dave Chappelle said, you got your black friends, then you got your big friends.
He's a comedian, so it depends on the context, right? So I would say no. I wouldn't consider that. Consider that hate speech. It's not a threat against a particular demographic. It's his interpretation of the word, but it's not necessarily negative. Whatever, I don't know. I would have to hear the context of it, but it wouldn't be considered hate speech. He's likely not treating anyone differently. He's also, it's not threatening, right? It's not being done in a threatening way and or manner. So
what for it to be hate speech, it has to be like very demeaning.
well, normally it would have to be in a protected. Let me get you the. It's generally going to like encourage violence or hate or like a particular action or threat against a demographic of people. So that's what it's gonna do against a person or a group or something. So every time you log into or when you create a membership or register for certain things like Twitch or YouTube, they have their own terms and services and community guidelines, which could lead to moderation acts, right? Acts of moderation, which means they are also kind of reviewing what you're saying, what you're doing, and determining whether or not you are in violation of any of their expectations of service. So in order to use this, you cannot engage in hate speech, right? In order to use this, you cannot there are some restrictions or limitations to the things that you say and or do, right? If you're on Facebook, you cannot be nude on Facebook, right? They'll likely pull your page. So there are restrictions, even though you have an amendment, a right protected. Doesn't mean that every platform gives you that unfettered right. We didn't have social social media. Facebook was Black Planet. Yeah, that was before Facebook. It was a website. I guess it was geared to Black people though. I don't know who I was on there, but that was probably my first introduction into social media. And that was I in high school? I may have been in high school on my way to college.
Okay, you said
A long time ago.
when you did.
Black Planet. I don't even know. Let me check. I know Justin Bieber bought it not too long ago. No, I doubt if it I don't know if it has an app store. Oh, it might still be available.
Oh, like it's like a taster now. Like it's kind of like Facebook.
It was kind of like Facebook, like the first version of Facebook. Yep.
Yeah, you said.
They had Black
Black Planet.
Did they have like Facebook later?
Well, they would have had to have a patent on the corrects for the formatting of it. Yeah, they would. And who's to say they didn't? Maybe it didn't follow the same formatting. Maybe it wasn't, a similar idea, but it was it was constructed differently. Black Planet came out in 1999. So yeah, I was in high school. Yeah. In 2001. Mhm. It's not too long ago. You bet, yeah. Well, probably before any of you were born, for sure, right? Yeah. It wasn't that long ago.
Like 16. Fuck if we didn't.
Yo, how did I say
So content on those types of platforms can in fact be banned, right? And you can be suspended. Even though you think it might be freedom of speech, certain platforms will not allow you to engage in certain behaviors and or content. In the gaming world, the Blitzchung controversy, there's some specific examples that we'll talk about today where in the gaming world that had a specific impact on your First Amendment rights, and sanctions or bans occurred as a result of it. So in Hong Kong, the case of a Hong Kong pro gamer who was punished for expressing support for the pro-democracy movement during a live stream, raising questions about the balance between political expression and platform rules. So, sometimes you have to be, but there are ads all the time though, right? We see political expression on Twitter. Right now, Twitter is very heavy for it. We know that Elon Musk wants to protect First Amendment rights, so he allows a lot of rhetoric on Twitter that other websites may or may not allow. So when we were talking about the election, at one point, Donald Trump was banned. And then when Elon Musk bought Twitter, he allowed Donald Trump to have his page back and have that platform. and say whatever it is that he wants to say. And oftentimes we might consider some of the content, the words that Donald Trump uses as hate speech, right? You know, we could consider that. But Elon Musk, his platform welcomes First Amendment. He puts First Amendment rights over a lot of different things. So he's not trying to control what you say or what you do, or at least what you're saying to the public. He's in favor of the First Amendment, but not all platforms share that thought process, right? Mm-hmm.
Like, could like someone use hate speech to a certain company?
Yes, absolutely. And just think about the companies that you work for and what who they help and or assist. Let's say you work for a nonprofit that is geared toward helping or assistance the LGBTQI plus community. Do you think if you say something negative about that community, the company will want you to be a representative of them?
Like, having a sense of or the Trump, but you're working for that organization. He's openly homophobic. Would that be like
A conflict? It might depend on what exactly you say or believe, what policies that you support. Um, I don't think it would be easy if you just broadly say I support Donald Trump versus if you are saying I support these behaviors or these policies or these people and they're geared specifically toward kind of against the LGBTQI community. You might then your employer may have a problem, right? You think? I mean, what would you want as an individual with certain beliefs? Even if I have my own organization that's a Christian organization, would I want someone to work for me who is openly, whether you believe the same way I believe or not, would I want someone who is actively advocating against what I value? Right? Likely no, right? And the more you have that, um, social media has become a very popular approach to background checks in employment nowadays. So I always tell people be very careful about what you post on social media because a potential or future employer can see that, may do a Google search, may do a background search that includes your social media. And if it's something on there that, you know, doesn't show you in the best light, then that may be a reason why they may not find you to be a good fit for the role. So always keep that in mind. And we share a lot on social media. You guys share way more on social media than maybe my generation. Well, some people in my generation may, but think about that. So in this particular case, Blitz Chung, Blizzard Entertainment suspended him, stripped his winnings, and received severe backlash from the gaming community. And he did, right? So sponsors like Mitsubishi pulled out. So although you think it's free speech, it can trigger some real consequences, including loss of sponsorships or strained relationships with some of your stakeholders. We also have T1 Fakers harassment controversy. So this is a great example when we think about our behaviors and our public image and how it has an effect on our sponsorships. Do you know of anyone recently? It happens all the time, actually. But let's say anyone recently who had charges or something brought against them and they may have lost sponsorships. Mm-hmm. I'm asking you, yeah. Can you think of anyone public space facing? There you go. So she did something inappropriate. And so she lost. Did she go to jail? Not yet. But being charged, that image, your behavior can have a negative, especially if it can have a negative impact on your sponsors, especially if it is against their public image. It's something that will have a negative impact on their image. So fans targeted fakers. with racist and abusive comments after a match loss. How do you want your management team to respond to those types of uh, comments against you or that behavior against you? That also and that also happens. Let's say your fans or the community has that kind of that negative approach and they're using obscene language. If you're at a basketball game, do you think it's okay for you to start yelling hate speech or negative language, racially discriminatory language at the basketball players? What do you think will happen? Absolutely, you're kicked out because in that same vein, I this is a contractual obligation. I'm here to do my job. Should you ever feel like you can go to work and be harassed or discriminated against in any way, it's actually against the law to do that, right? And I can, as an employee, if my employer allows other people to harass me and discriminate against me, then I can sue them because I have a protected right. You are obligated to make sure that I am not treated any differently when I walk into work, right? When I'm at work. The same is true for a contractual obligation like a basketball player or a football player. When they walk into those arenas, they should be protected, even against fans. So the organization has to make sure protections are in place for them as well. So what happens? You get kicked out, right? The organizations will balance protecting their players and addressing public behaviors. So they might block you from being able to make comments, depending on who you are and what the comments were, where they're being made. They might block you from attending uh, basketball, football, baseball games, whatever arena it is. They can prevent you from coming back because it is equally as important for them that they protect their players as it is to hold the player accountable for exhibiting similar types of behaviors, right? hmm So esports players represent teams and sponsors even when they are off duty. So when you think the camera is off, right? Is it just at practice or at a game that I have to behave a certain way? Can I go home and do whatever it is I want to do? And it's, even on social media, say these things, but because I'm not at practice or because I'm not, you know, representing the team in that moment, do you think there should be no consequence? Because you're still representing this brand, right? Especially if you are a very, very well-known individual like LeBron James. Can he just walk around and do whatever it is he wants to do without fear or risk of losing sponsors? No, right? So when you think about um, getting a sponsorship or working for a particular organization, things that they might consider your skill set and your ability because that's what they're paying you for. But your character is also being considered. And so if they know that do y'all know who Dennis Rodman is? Yeah. So like a player like Dennis Rodman, who's very vocal, maybe aggressive, maybe not as nice or kind. Do you think he has as many sponsors as a player like, LeBron James, right? Because they consider your character. You said you think so? Oh. Exactly. And then you do that, not only are you suspended, but you are likely to lose sponsors because your character is important for these organizations. So Ninja had an Adidas sponsorship, signed a deal with Adidas in 2020, and Adidas expected Ninja to maintain a professional public image to align with their branding. A professional public image. That means, and that could be a very broad concept. It may not be as easy as, having a or as small as having a disagreement with, a waitress at a restaurant. Maybe it's a DUI. once that happens, maybe you'll lose sponsorships, maybe not, right? Maybe it is, normally getting arrested is going to be a big one, especially if you're charged. And then especially if you're convicted, right? Depending on what it is, the levels. But even if there's an allegation of domestic violence, that could be harmful to my brand. Do I want someone who even got an allegation to represent my brand? Is it fair for me to cut ties with that person just based only on an allegation? Do I have to wait? Should I have to wait until that person is charged or convicted? Because it's not true. There's no confirmation until you're actually convicted, right? At that point, it's just an allegation. An employee, if you have a relationship, sure. Client.
They go. They're at a party. They're doing crack. And then you can't get them into their crack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you just take away their contract automatically because, they're involved. Not only they're involved, but they got kids involved.
You can, and it's an illegal substance. So even if I became aware that you are involved in this illegal behavior, that's enough, right? It was from a TV show. I know it, but I haven't watched it. No. So you want to think about that. So you're held to a higher standard by sponsors because you are seen, people know you. So all of your behavior matters. Professionalism on and off the court matters. So you think about that. And it's an expectation, and oftentimes it's written in the contract in some way, shape, or form that your behavior matters, and then it can terminate a contract if you violate that provision. Right. Another example, we'll go into the contract language. Carlos Rodriguez, right? He posted a video parting with controversial influencer Andrew Tate. After backlash, he initially defended his actions, but later resigned. So Leaders Public Association can harm their organization's reputation as well. He ultimately resigned, but do you think he did so willingly or was he forced to resign? He was probably forced to resign, right? Right. So your associations matter. We see, Sean Combs or Diddy right now is in jail. His associations matter. He lost a lot of sponsorships. He had business deals. He lost a lot of that. And people are trying to separate themselves from him, from his behaviors and his image and his whatever those parties were. I didn't go or I left early. They're trying to separate themselves from him to avoid this kind of harmful reputation, this harm to their reputation.
It's like he got like a regular party and use that one of those. She wasn't at his other type parties.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like like I wouldn't say it's like is that like still like bad? Like because you see like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James at that party. So that's still like bad for like everybody on
for their reputation? I would say no. I would say going to the party in and of itself is maybe not harm your reputation, but you are likely going to separate yourself from being aware of any type of behavior that he's alleged of engaging in while at these parties. Hey, I was completely unaware, right? What you're not likely to say is, I knew all of this was going on, but I didn't engage, because that is going to be harmful to your reputation. Yeah. Well, I can't distinguish the two. I don't know which, and maybe there is a way.
Think about it. If you're famous, there's a big party on the East Coast. Go to that.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay, but I feel like now, like the illegal stuff wasn't happening at the date forums. I think it said frequency.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that they're, hey, I'm not sure how they're distinguishing. And you might be right. You might be right. You might be right. But that's an important distinction. And maybe that determines who attends, right? If you know that this party will be one of his famous freak-offs, maybe that's the one I don't go to, right? I don't want to go to that one. Yeah. So what does that look like? What does that look like in practice, right? Sometimes there's contract language that's specifically related to your professional responsibilities or your professional behavior. Here's an example. The player agrees to refrain from making any public statements that are defamatory, discriminatory, or damaging to the team, its sponsors, or its affiliates. Breach of this clause may result in termination or suspension. There are three parts of this contract that are very important. You cannot make statements that are defamatory or damaging to the team, one, its sponsors, or its affiliates. How broad is that, right? So if you make a defamatory, you have to think about the team. Let's say we're talking about the Bulls. It's not just the Bulls, Chicago Bulls, but it's everyone that sponsors the Chicago Bulls.
Sponsorship.
And you cannot make a defamatory, discriminatory, or damaging comment even about that YouTuber.
Then I say being hold on, I don't like this video. It's like what we're trying to do. Just something I can't say that.
Well, I don't think that's defamatory or discriminatory. You may just disagree, but if you said, I don't like him because he's a Latino and I don't like any Latinos, that will, right? If you make threats against a particular person, hey, the last time he came to the game, he did A, B, and C. The next time I see him, you know, violence will ensue. That's likely going to be problematic, right? So you think you can disagree with someone. It's not the end of the world. You can disagree with someone, but you want to be cautious about what you're saying, why you're saying, and who it affects. Because again, the organization is important, its sponsors and its affiliates. That is going to be a broad base, an extremely broad base. I mean, so really best practice is to not say anything defamatory or discriminatory or damaging. Again, it depends on where this is happening because we know on Twitter right now, you may be able to make these types of comments, defamatory and discriminatory. I'm sorry.
Like say like they how much hates like hate Twitter not to do backlash.
No. He can say it on Twitter and Twitter will keep it up, right? But who will it affect? His sponsors, his team, and its affiliates. Correct. So now Twitter may allow you to make the statements, but Facebook likely will not. Facebook will likely take the statement down and you will still be held accountable to, your team, your sponsors, your affiliates. So these are some limits on free speech that you may think shouldn't exist, but they do, especially in the esports realm and any other realm when we're talking about professionalism and discriminatory conduct and or behavior. So let's go over some scenarios. Scenario 1. A player wants to tweet political opinions about an ongoing conflict. Should they post? And what would the team or sponsors think? So do you think a player should post their thoughts and or feelings about the current war in Ukraine against Russia? What did you say?
I think it's like a basketball game.
Any player. It's
So I feel like he could be like, oh, I'm not supporting this, that. But I feel like he really shouldn't though. It's like, it's not really a business, like that was, but they not, it's, I feel like, they came here to like, they want to like basketball, like they want to play basketball. They
Sure. But what if you're Russian
Russian, I feel like it's
in the United States?
like, like, yeah, it's
Shouldn't.
like leaving politics out of,
Like, you can politics. Yeah,
because that
Mhm.
can, like,
like you can
you
always
can
donate money.
like,
It's true.
humors, like, with that, like,
And so
get true, that
Right.
different. Right.
Right. Because the question is, will this offend someone? Right. And if it's likely to offend someone, you should probably refrain, right?
say if there's some Ukrainian basketball player, and they're the ones that's under attack, could he say something and not get like? Because I feel like he could say something.
It might have a different effect.
Russian, but like majority of America, I feel like that's what I
Hmm.
just because he say something and get backlash.
It depends on the comment, right? Maybe he can, right? Maybe he can say, I support my country. I wear this flag, whatever.
Say anything like you want, like you can tweet about anything, say anything publicly, as long as it's not demeaning something else. I feel like this week.
But a war ultimately does, right? Regardless of which side I take, even though we consider Ukraine the underdog, it could be maybe Russia has a rationale that they felt unsafe and they felt they needed to protect their lands, or they felt they were getting, taking back their land. Is it okay for the Ukrainian people to say, you know, I work for the United States. I work for this basketball team. Um, you just have to think about what people would think about that comment and how it would have an effect on all the things that we said. Some um, companies and corporations may be supporting Ukraine, some may be supporting Russia. You never know, right? Scenario 2, a teammate's inappropriate comment goes viral and fans blame the entire team. How should the team respond publicly while protecting its brand? Maybe you can decide.
We could make it clear, but it's like, I didn't think he did it. I feel like he should have said it. He shouldn't have said it. But I feel like everything you should say, like, you should be expecting that I was meeting, but everything is going to get something serious.
Right.
I feel like,
So how does the team respond?
like as a team,
I feel like they should like, they,
Mm.
go ahead, go ahead.
go ahead, you got it. You got it.
I feel like we should, thank you. I feel like we should go ahead, like, punish the player, like, so I feel like, and like, not like it's like the rest of the team, like teams like show this,
Hmm.
like the problem.
Yeah, that's true. So you can definitely that player can be sanctioned. It happens all the time in the NBA, right? If you do something, you can receive a fine for something that you said on the basketball court. If a referee considers it inappropriate behavior, unprofessional or unsportsmanlike conduct, you can be fined. That happens all the time. The team can fine you depending on what behavior you're engaged in. But what other ways do you think the team can address it to the public?
That's like the head coach. It's just like how he has this.
Mm.
I thought he should be like taking leadership role, like saying, all right, we know our teammates said this. Team has seen a lot of backlash for this. So this. I thought he
Right.
should say,
Yeah,
addressing it, like what he would do as like the leader of the team.
sure. And I think it's also important to take ownership, right? Even as a coach, it's okay to say, he's a young player. He made a mistake. That's okay. It's not the end of his career. It's not a career ending mistake. He's been fined. The rest of the team does not feel the same way, right? We don't support the behavior, but everyone has to take accountability and we move forward. Yeah. Scenario 3, last scenario. A player faces harassment online and feels the need to speak about it publicly. What's the most effective way to respond?
Ask me, it's like, like, personal issues and stuff like that. If I can, like, what's it called? Yeah, some interviewer like asks you, when they know, post game interviews, if you to talk to them,
Yeah.
they ask me about it. I'm like, that's like the perfect time to say, like, I don't know. Like, that's usually what gets talked about.
Well, do you want, should you respond? Let's say you're being harassed. And do you,
Like, so what do you mean, like, what type of harassment?
it could be, well, this is online. So that means, let's say me as a fan, I am constantly saying, you know, you suck. I hate you. Don't come back. You know, your kid, kind of that kind of stuff.
That don't, that's fine. But if
It's
it's like,
like something like person, like family, your family, like personal stuff. It's good to play back. Yeah, that's
There's no tell me in that, but again.
Yeah.
I feel like, but if it's like other type of harassment, like, you yourself or something, I feel like anything on, if it's like that, the rest of it.
And that does happen. We see that happen when people make a bad decision or make a bad shot. They don't hit the last shot, and sometimes fans get carried away and start making very negative, harassing comments. And it's also illegal when you do that. You can't, you know, tell somebody to go kill yourself. I wish you were dead. I wish your children were dead. Internet bullying, things like that, you can have, there could be legal consequences to it as well. But as the player, do you think you should respond to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
How you fair phone it works. Guys, cops getting you talking about crime rate stuff.
Mm.
And that made a whole controversy because people were.
He was talking about it negatively.
No.
Huh? People are offended, right? This is my way of life. There's nothing wrong. Why can't my children know that I'm a part of the community? Why can't they be there or involved or supportive? Everything could potentially, you just have to be aware of your audience and think broadly about the impact that it will have on your reputation or the organization's reputation. Because at the end of the day, that's what they are intending to protect. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? All right, Aramis is up, so I'll let him get us started.
class, so welcome to music production. So today I have a little bit of a special treat. So today I'm going to remote log into my desktop at home, and I'm going to show you what I have at home. So give me a few minutes. Let me just. All right. So this is my FL Studio at home. So let me show you all the drums I have at home. All of these right here are just drums, and these not even all of them. I have many, many, many more. These not even all of them. But I want to show you a beat that I made, I want to say a couple years ago, like 3-4 years ago, and what you can do in FL Studio. Let me just go to it real quick. I think it's in up with this. Is it with this beat?
What water is this?
Yeah, these rest of my drums right here. Yeah, I'm not even done with my drums. I have more. But give me a few minutes. I just have to find.
So how do you like, so you buy them or you make them and you?
I get them. I get them for free. I get it for free. Sometimes I buy them. Sometimes I get them for free. When you network, when you out in the city and you network, we go to different people's studios. You exchange drum packs and everything. That's what I did. That's what I used to do. You can buy them online. You can buy them online. Um, you can buy them online. You can also go on like Twitter, find them. A lot of producers also give their stuff away sometimes. So you have a lot of options to get beats. All right. Looking for one. All right. All right, so while it's loading up, do anybody know the anime Sailor Moon? Do anybody know the anime Sailor Moon? Have you ever heard of it?
I love it.
Okay. So I sampled that. So I had the idea in my head for a while of how I wanted to sample it, what I wanted to do, all of that. So as you can see, I have all of these plugins, all of these effects that I have. I have a compressor on here. I have a reverb. I have a filter. I have a bunch of plugins. Let me see if I can just go to this. Okay, so this is how you usually make a beat, right? So usually when you get really into it, you get really advanced and you really learn, this is how you make a beat. So you see I have all my patterns right there, right? So I have a pattern for my sample, I have a pattern for my drums, I have a pattern for my hi-hats, my snares, my bass line, so on and so forth. And you set it up like this. So in the beginning, it would be like my sample. And then it'll kick in the beat. And as you see, how I have my song set up. It's like my drums at the top. No, my drums at like the bottom. My instrumentation and all my synths and samples and everything's like in the middle. And then the top is pretty much whatever, like post-production stuff, right? May add some more hi-hats. I may add some more snares, so on and so forth. I'm going to play it just so you can hear it. Now, you're not going to get the full effect of it because I don't have drums. I mean, I don't have really good speakers on the TV, but you'll still be able to hear what I made, though. Hey, Chris, can you use the Bluetooth speaker? I'm going to have to use the Bluetooth speaker. Give me 1 second. Thank you, sir. Add this. All right. Perfect, yeah. I'm just trying to get my sound stuff situated, get easier. Yeah. So, he's no longer with us. Yeah. I feel better for this. Yeah, he's on something more sick. All right. He he was IT. He is right. Oh, right. Gonna sound a little bit. All right, you got it. So, let me make these, I like that intro. Probably like intro. I use the sample that I use for Sailor Moon, and I can show you the sample that I use after this. Yeah, so I made the. It took me to put the bass down.
I didn't finish it.
Today.
Is it finished?
I have another version that's finished, but for this, it took me like I want to say 2 hours to put the bass down, and that was me finding the samples, cutting it, placing the samples where I wanted to be placed, and having a bass pattern for the drum. But everything else we had in the hi hats, we had in the snares, a lot of the post production stuff. That took me a while. That took me probably like a week to finish everything else. The sample that I use, let me go to my mixer and go to my master. I sampled Sailor Moon, so I sampled the intro of Sailor Moon. So I'm gonna show you exactly what I sampled. And then from there, all I did was just a bunch of chopping. All I did was a bunch of chopping. I went into it, chopping, and some more chopping. But once I figured out what I wanted to do, like I had it in my head what I wanted to do, it was kind of easy to put everything out. But that took me a while. That took me years to able to get to that point where I hear a sample in my head. I'm like, oh, I know what I want to do. I want to slow it down. I want to chop the end. I want to put this part here. I want to put this part here. I want to add an 808. You can't really hear my 808s. You put on the Bluetooth speaker, but it's still not powerful enough for what I got in this beat. So you're not gonna really hear it. But I have a lot of 808s. I have some subs on here, all of that. I'm showing you this to show you what's possible, like what you can do, right? You can pretty much do whatever you want to put your mind to it. It's going to take a while. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get easily frustrated to the point to where you may have an idea and you can't put it down proper yet, and you may not touch it for another week or two or months until you come back to it with a better mindset, a better, fresh set of eyes, and you can go ahead and execute your plan for your production, right? It took me a while. Let me just show you this. All of this is just from me. Well, some of the newer stuff is not me, but all of this is stuff that I have done over the years. This is a beat that I've been working on since what, last year? Actually, the year before. I sampled Shirley Murdoch, and I can't get the stuff right how I wanted to get right. It's kind of pissing me off, but yeah.
They not really just make the beats. Do you think like for audio?
Yeah, it's artists that use FL Studio to record audio, they mix, they master, they do all of that, right? With this beat, I can't figure out what, I need to add something and I don't know what to add. Maybe an 808, maybe some more drums, but I don't know exactly what to add. But that's a beat that I've been working on since probably lockdown. What's up?
Like, you got like different tracks. Like I could get the different patterns.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get the different patterns. How they
So like, okay, so with this one, I think I'm using 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So pretty much with my what would be my hook part, I think I'm using 2 and 3. I'm alternating 2 and 3, and then 4 is like my verse part. I didn't separate and do drums and everything. I would probably do that later. Like once I have everything down pat, then I would just add more patterns. So one would be my drums, two would be my 808s, three would be my sample, four would be my snares, five would be my hi-hat, so on and so forth. But yeah, like all of this just took me a while. And all I do now, I don't even really make beats anymore like that. All I do now is just cut samples and I'll give them to people. They ask me to cut samples and I do that pretty much. But yeah, this have took me a while. And like all these drums, me collecting all these drums. How I get drums for me, I would go to studios like Classic Studios and I would trade beats. I would trade drums. So I may have a drum set like the Illman Illuminati kit, and then they have like the Pusha Boy Wonder kit. I may have something else in my repertoire and I'll give it to them, right? I'll give it to them like, hey, let's do a trade. So I'm always collecting drums. Real quick, I'm going to show you my plugins that I have, the plugins that I have. So let me go to my channel rack. So okay, here you go. Here, Nexus. This is Nexus. This is one of my favorite plugins ever. I have gotten this plugin. First of all, I stole this. It's crack. This is crack version. So I didn't buy this. This is like $300. I didn't buy this plugin, but like a crack version. One of my favorite plugins ever. Period. It's really, really good. The synths, the pianos, the rolls. You can make a bass line with it. It's awesome. They have arpeggios. The who all know the song March Madness Future? That sample, the part that go like up and down a little bit, it's in Nexus. You'll find it in actually this appreciated pack right here. You'll find it in there, right? A lot of stuff that like Southside used from 88 Mafia, Nexus. Or Omnisphere. I don't have Omnisphere. That one's too big. That's on like 14 gigabytes. It's just samples. I don't have enough memory for that because I have all these drums. But one of my favorite plugins. It's a plugin that I was trying to get installed on your computers, but it's just not working correctly. But it's one of my favorite plugins. Another plugin that I have on here, I think I have to mention Pro. Oh, I have Synth One. I have Synth One. This is a really good plugin too. You got a really good synth sound, like an old school like 80s synth and everything. Really good. One of my favorites. Also another one. And I'm gonna show one more. Inserts. Oh, there you go. Secure. This is one of my favorite plugins too. Let me see if I can play it. It's a delay because I'm remote. I'm remoting my computer at home, so it's a delay. But it's one of my favorite plugins. It got a really good string sound, like Oriental. So think of like Chinese, Japanese, Korean, like them type of strings that you hear. They have a really good sound with that. I don't even know what beat that is, but I have a beat where I use that a lot though. But all this to say is that if you stick with it, like if you are really serious in production, you stick with it, the possibilities are endless, right? The doors will open up to you. It is going to take a lot of networking. So a lot of you going to beat battles, a lot of you going into studio sessions, getting invited to studio sessions. Like I said, I was going to Classic a lot with my cousins. I would go with them. I would always meet cool people like Lucky X and um, Smino. I met him before, and Mike Booker, and just chop it up with them really, really good and make some really good, some great collaborators, but also better friends. So the doors will definitely open up to you. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot of grinding. It's not going to be easy. But I just wanted to show you an example of my setup at home and how I do things at home. So, what time is it? It's 7:27. So rest of class is working your beats. Y'all have at least 3 weeks to get everything together so y'all can get ready for the beat battle. No, you just make the beat and then you play it. Like at the end you can play it, and then me, Christian, and Sammy judge who have the best beat. And of course we have prizes 1, 2, 3. So go ahead, take your time, work on your music. And then 7:45 we'll wrap up. I don't have to what's the example of that. That's a, what is this one? Guitar? You get the guitar. Mm-hmm. They should be in your in your flex. So you're gonna go here and you're gonna go to mobile plug. You're gonna double click it, it's gonna open. So you double click it, or you right click and open a new flex channel, it's gonna open. And these are pretty much all like guitars. When you see pluck, it's plucking the guitar string. Oh. Go.
I want to try to be bass, but it's actually too. So like track with tattoos, how
Let's get a new pattern. So how you do that? track 3, the pattern being based, and then on track. I don't really think that's what it is. Oh, my hard drive's gonna go. I don't know. One of my hard drives.